Hey guys, Dr. Morse, injury experts. So we had an unexpected add to the injury report this week that occurred in practice yesterday, Thursday, in Tucker Kraft. After completely smashing each of the past 2 weeks, we were expecting him to take on and probably destroy the Cleveland Browns secondary. But now there is a very real risk he misses that game with a knee injury. While we don't have specifics, some of the phrasing that they used gives me a little bit of concern. One of the things that they tweeted, and you can see here, is that this is not season ending. Good, right? But that tells me that they're concerned enough to make that comment. Now, they went for an MRI and they never released what it said. So I'm going to try to read what I call between the lines. Now, I don't expect him to do a whole lot today. And the fact that it happened on, say, Thursday, as opposed to, say, Sunday or last Wednesday, Thursday, the timing gets trickier. So if you suffer a new injury on Thursday, you have Friday, Saturday, and then they're expecting you to potentially play on Sunday. Sometimes the tissue doesn't cooperate that quickly. I do not expect him to practice a whole lot today, Friday, which is the last practice of the week. Saturday usually isn't for a whole lot of movement, and then you play on Sunday. So today is an important day, and unfortunately the injury is less than 24 hours old. So this is risky. Now, what are we likely dealing with? We don't have specifics. So as a wastebasket term, you could say a knee sprain. Okay, fine. Did he injure his MCL? Did he sprain his ACL? Yes, it can happen without tearing it. More than likely, he likely tweaked the meniscus, either here medially or here laterally. Now, with that being said, injuries like the patellar tendon, like the quad tendon, are not traditionally things you do in the middle of a practice. They're more chronic things that kind of wear and tear. So if this is an acute injury, this is either a meniscus, an MCL, or a mild ACL, unless he happened to land on his knee funny, and then that would be a PCL like Brock Bowers and Jaden Daniels. My concern is they are a very conservative staff, very. They traditionally hold players out longer than they should compared to, say, someone like the Eagles who are very aggressive. So with that being said, is with how important Tucker Kraft is to this team, the fact that they just lost Jaden Reed for probably 11 to 12 weeks, they really can't risk losing Tucker Kraft for an extended period of time. So I think he's going to be out this week. We might be able to get him back next week. So what is the breakdown going to look like? Yes, they have Luke Musgrave, but at this point in time, he's never really been much of a threat. Yes, he might get more work than he usually does if Kraft is out, but he's not someone I would go out of my way to start. With that being said, you're probably going to be without Evan Ingram as well, so you might have to decide what to do for a tight end. With that being said, also, without the ability to have Jaden Reed, we're now down to Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, and Matthew Golden. Now, Golden has the #1 separation rate in the NFL. He's looked absolutely incredible. The problem is he doesn't get the ball. He has not really caught a whole lot. The talent is there. You know, he was a really good wide receiver at UT. But at that point in time, my concern is that they really need to make progress here and start getting him the ball, and I think it happens this week. So I think Matthew Golden, Doubs, and Wicks are the main three this week without Kraft. Remember, the Browns' running is very concerning. Their run defense is fantastic. They've already locked up King Henry last week and someone else the week before. So realistically, this is, and Josh Jacobs is banged up with an ankle injury as well. So this is probably going to be more of a throwing game. So with that being said, keep an eye on this. I think Tucker Kraft is probably going to be out this week just because they have to think long term. This team has legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, and they need to be smart here. I don't think they can win it without Tucker Kraft. He's that important to their offense right now. So hopefully they'll err on the side of caution and probably be out this week. If he happens to be active, I don't want anything to do with him. He's very risky this week.